So starting the test drive in the Versa here, I've driven, I think, an SV and an SL, so I've kind of gotten used to these cars, just in terms of how they drive, specifically the 23s after the refresh. And these are great cars if you're just, if money is a big thing for you, especially with how expensive cars have gotten. These are some of the cheapest cars you can get. And honestly, if you keep the CVT maintained, they'll last you a minute. I always say that my girlfriend, her grandmother had a Versa forever, and it was like an impeccable condition with 200,000 miles on it, but she just followed the scheduled maintenance, always took it to the dealer, got the CVT maintained like it was supposed to, and the only reason that she doesn't have it anymore is because she got a new one. I think she has like a 21 or 22 Versa SR. And the SRs are honestly, for me, to pay the extra 5-6 grand, I'd recommend it. But if you're one of those people who just doesn't care about anything, just as long as it gets you from A to B, has a warranty, all of that, this is gonna be perfect for you. And if you don't like using the adaptive cruise and having all that technology anyways, you'd rather have this and save the money. Me personally, I like having the adaptive cruise, I like having remote start, I like having a key fob, but this S is a really good option for people who, if you're looking at maybe a Chevy Spark or a Toyota, like an older Yaris, those kind of cars that you don't care how big they are, all it's gonna be is you driving them around to and from work, and you're trying to get 40 miles per gallon. You're just about cutting costs. This is the kind of car that you need to look at. Now the ride is not, I wouldn't say it's harsh, but it's certainly not plush. But this drives like a $19,000 car would. And of course, without all the options, the cargo trays and the floor mats and all of that, it's a, heck, closer to $17,000 car. But super simple to drive. And if that's a big thing for you, again, there's a pretty big market for people who like these cars. And I'll probably check several of the reasons why. Another good thing is, even with the touch screen, you start going up in trim levels with certain cars, and all of a sudden you can't connect your Bluetooth, or you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that, because there's so much going on here. This is super simple. You hit the home button, boom, AM, FM, Bluetooth, aux, all of it's right there. Settings. You don't have to do this and then do that and then spin around 3 times and all that. So again, just super simple car to use and to learn, really. And a lot of people don't realize, for especially older people who, again, they're on a fixed income, or even if you're not older and you're on a fixed income, this is cheap to maintain, this is cheap to keep running, and everything is so simple. A lot of people are wanting maybe a car that's 40 grand that's as simple as this to use, and it's just hard to come by, because most people want the latest and greatest, especially, you know, you're starting to get to the Gen Y, Gen Z, all of them are driving and starting to control the economy. And then even our older generations are trying to, you know, be tech savvy and learn how to use this, and they want this and they want that, because it's just so, we're just a service driven, and that's just how we are as a society right now. But this kind of has a little bit of both. So you still have your Bluetooth and cruise control, all of that, but you don't have all that extra stuff that you might not want, might not need, and certainly don't want to pay for. Now, in terms of driving this, it's not for me. I like turbos, I like electric cars, I like having the torque and the power when I need it. And this is a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, a small one at that. It's not like the 2.5 you get in the Toyota. You got a 1.6 liter. So let me put it in sport mode. Let's see what it'll do. So not terrible acceleration. What makes these somewhat quick is the CVT. A lot of people don't realize the CVT is meant for the efficiency, but since it's a variable transmission, you don't have to worry about a specific shift point, and then you're having lag there. And then of course, with it being naturally aspirated, you're not having to worry about turbo lag. So it just goes. And it doesn't have a lot of power, but all the power that you're getting, you're not having a loss of it from shift points or whatever. But cruising down the interstate here, actually not a bad ride at all. These seats for me don't really do it. They're just not comfortable for longer journeys. I think the SR with a power seat would make a huge difference. But I mean, as you can see here, it's not an expensive seat, let's just say that. But all in all, definitely, if that's not a big deal for you, or if you have a bunch of, like you have a booster and like a heating pad that you're gonna strap to your seat back and then run it off a 12 volt. If you're one of those kind of people, this is the perfect car for you, because it is not expensive at all with how it's made, with the materials in it, but most importantly, with how much it costs. So what I like about the Versa is where it's inexpensive to create, that's passed down to the consumer. So you're not gonna have a lot of markup in these cars. You're not gonna have a lot of profit from the dealers if that's something you're worried about, because it's such a cheap car. There's not going to be a lot of room to make money in here. But it does help with the loyalty of the customer. So you drive a Versa and then all of a sudden you want to upgrade to a Sentra, you want to upgrade to an Altima, or all of a sudden you have a kid, you want to upgrade to a Rogue. Everything is pretty easy to transition to in terms of just driving capability, getting used to the controls, and then just how Nissan designs their vehicles as well. But again, if you're looking for something like the Yaris, like a Chevy Spark, or even like the Ford Fiesta when it was out, definitely make sure you take a look at this new 2023 Nissan Versa S.